Hello, are you out there? This is Mark with Redo Over, and this is Basilisk Games Eschalon Book 1. And this is just a little bit of a treat. It's a game I love. This is an indie RPG isometric. And I started playing it again. I put hundreds of hours in. But I realize it's probably very loud. It'll quiet down in a moment. Yeah, that is loud. Hopefully that's a little bit better. Begin a new adventure. Here we go. Alright, folks. So, the thing I love about this game is just the character creator right off the bat. Now, granted, the guy that made this, interestingly enough, I don't know how much of the artwork, but I assume he did a good amount of it himself. I don't know. Or maybe it was programmed by one person, but I think the art was maybe done by many people. We can check the credits one of these times. But limited number of faces, and they all look like they're modeled after the same person, right? It just looked like it's just the one guy's face, and then he just did the hair up different and like the angles, but the nose is nearly identical. Like, it's great. Beyond which, you go up here to gender. Only male is available. Now, down here we see, the tale told in Eschalon Book 1 revolves around a male main character. As such, you cannot change this character trait. Ooh, yeah. This is old school, where you can just get away with that shit. So, got my special drink here. This is my nighttime, my Friday night beverage. The wife and the daughter are watching lady shows, so I'm doing Eschalon here with you folks. Name's not so important right now. Oh, gosh, yeah. I hope that's not too loud for you guys. Again, but... So, let's just start out with rolling stats first of all. Okay, so if we were to choose something over here, and then we were to re-roll our stats, it resets what we did over here. So, this will be a little bit of a tutorial, but once we get into the game, it'll just be telling the story of the game and getting your character, the hero, of the story through book 1 of the Eschalon trilogy. So if you guys like this, there's 2 more games, and I've actually never gotten through them all myself. But bottom line is, tooltips work pretty well in this game. You get a lot of information, but click the dice to re-roll your base attributes. Each roll produces a random number between 7 and 14 for each attribute. Note, this will reset your character and undo any changes that you've made so far. So, ultimately, you want to get around 16 to 17 total points under the max. So if you have 8 attributes times 14, that would come out to 112, something like that. So, right? Yeah. 8 times 14, 4 times 8, 30. Yeah, okay. 80 plus 32, 112. So, you really want everything to be hovering around 12. So that would be minus 2 down from 14 and all 8 attributes. So we're going to roll this up. You're looking for something where every single number is in double digits at the very least. And you can do this for a really long time. I might not try and bore you guys too badly, but if you can get extra stats, take them, right? Don't settle for something that's too cruddy. That's pretty weak. We want some 13s, some 14s in there. That's not half bad. So check this out. There's a -1, a -2. That's -5, -7, -8, 9, -13, -14. Yeah, that's like a -15. Still too low. Let's keep going. Let's keep going here. We'll get it there. Oh, this is the most exciting part of the game. It's not, but... Nice thing is you can do this as many times as you want. And you get some amazing rolls. Yeah, there's a lot of 11s plus the 2 9s. It's worth doing this, and I love doing the character creation. It's so much fun. Especially when we get into like choosing skills and whatnot. But you can get this game off of Steam. It's been out for years. Very good reviews. You know, in general, people like it a lot. And I would highly recommend, if you like RPGs, play it. one of the things that's so amazing about this game in particular is there's a lot of ways to solve problems. So you can come at it as a rogue or as a divination caster, as a fighter. There's ways to get through all the parts of the game, and we'll go into that in depth. So if you guys stick with me a little bit on this playthrough, I think you'll be pretty impressed with what you see. This roll's not too bad. That's a -1 there. Plus a -5 gets us to -6, -7, -14, -15, -16, 17. Eesh, that's close. You know, let's just take it so I don't have to bore you guys with too many more rolls. You could definitely get that a couple of points better. I think I've gotten as good as like a 14 under, which would mean like this would have been like a 10 or something. So yeah, you can get crazy good rolls, but you might have to roll it 200 times. I understand that, you know, this is supposed to be entertaining, so let's get through it here. So, wow, there's so many ways to do this. Now, we have 15 points that we can assign, so we can literally just dump all the points straight into one stat if we want. I don't recommend that. At the same time, I don't recommend having weak stats, so I would probably get everything up to just like a base 10. Just, you know, and you can't take down, you can't dump stat anything. So, like, the perception rolled at 13, you can't decrease that. So, let's just look at the different stats real quick. Strength. Strength is a measure of your character's physical armor. His ability to lift and carry weight, as well as the maximum force he can deliver when attacking. Nearly all of your character's physical abilities are augmented by strength in some way, including toxin resistance. So, I think in this there's disease resistance, toxin, fire, cold, electricity. So there's a handful. I think maybe, and that's probably not true. 4 resistances. It's maybe fire, cold, disease, and toxin or poison. So, but every stat plays into a couple of things. So having a decent strength would only be really important if we're going to go with the fighter. Now, so let's just talk about the ways you can play this. You can play a rogue type, in which case you'd want dex speed to be pretty high. Maybe perception, so you can like spot hidden things. You could play a fighter type, in which case you're going to want strength and endurance to be high, but that doesn't mean dexterity and speed don't matter. You could play a caster of either the wisdom or intelligence. So like essentially a holy divination caster would be wisdom based, like your clerical stuff, healing and all that. Or you can play straight up like wizard style invocation, I think they call it, and that would be int based. You could also play a jack of all trades, where you do all of it. Now, say you're playing a rogue, and you need magical capabilities. You can get both potions and, well, yeah, just potions. You can get almost anything through a potion. You can also get items that might give you a minor divination skill. So you could get an amulet that gives you +3 divination skill, and all of a sudden you can cast those divination spells. So one way I might play is Jack of all trades, where I just level this out and I keep it uniform throughout my playthrough. You'll get chances to improve your stats quite a bit as you play. So I don't think that's a bad idea, but there's a question of whether we want to go with the roleplay element here, like as we play through. So, for instance, let's talk about opening locked doors, locked chests in this game. A lot of good stuff behind doors and in chests. You have to get through those eventually. So in this game, you can, as a rogue, pick locks, work on your lockpicking skill, and purchase lockpicks. They break, they're not cheap, but they're not that expensive. But you have to put skill points and money into that. You could play a fighter, and you could beat down the doors with large weapons, like cleaving weapons, blunt weapons. You can just hack through doors and chests and beat them apart. The one problem with that is it can break your weapons. Each time you attack that door, that chest, you run the risk of destroying your weapon. So you would want to have your high quality weapons you'd set aside, and you might have some junky backup weapons you carry, and you smash open the chest with those. But even if a cruddy weapon breaks, it's still worth 100 or 2 gold. You're just losing it. It's non-recoverable. Okay. Let's say you're playing one of the caster types. Well, an invocation wizard can cast Melt Lock, which will, if it's cast high enough, will melt different qualities of lock, like a cruddy iron, simple iron lock, to an advanced, dwarven steel lock or mithril or something. So you can melt them apart that way. So yeah, those are your different options. Would be use magic, use brute force, or use dexterity to lockpick. That's how this game is designed, where you have many ways to do it. There's also, because this is book 1, the creator had many little flaws and cheats in this, which I will tell you guys about, but I'm not going to use them. For instance, if you take the unarmed combat skill, it allows you to hit things with your bare hands without causing any damage to your character. Now, if you don't have unarmed combat and you start beating down a door, it will hurt you. You'll start damaging the door, but it'll make your health go down with every hit. But you just put 1 point into unarmed combat, or you get an amulet of unarmed combat, and you equip it, you can now open any door or almost any chest in the game by simply beating it down with your bare hands, and it won't hurt you. It takes a long time because it'll take like 100 hits, like 1% at a time. You'll have to, and sometimes you miss. So it's a very slow way of doing it, and it's kind of a horrible cheat, to be really honest. So I know playing this, I'm going to have some way to get through those doors and those chests. It's critical to the game. But you have to ask yourself the question, well, is this thing on? Yes. Okay. Do you spread your points around everywhere? Do I go into lockpick and I'll have to build it up to, 6, 9, 12 skill points eventually, which is a lot of skill points? Or will I get the melt lock eventually? Or will I just beat them apart with my strength and my weapons? Because I don't want to put any points into lockpick if I'm not going to pick locks. So I think realistically, I would like to be a fighter caster type and not go with the rogue type so much. The rogue type elements are amazing in the game, such as moving silently, hiding in shadows, but they're very subtle, and it might be a little hard to express to you guys as we're playing the fact that I'm hiding, skulking in shadows, escaping the attention of my enemies. So let's go with that fighter type first, and then I think we will build up the divination and the casting abilities as we play through. Now bear in mind, you have to purchase all your spells in this, and they're actually quite expensive, and you don't find them right off the bat. So initially, to start off with, you can be a really intelligent caster, but you will know no spells and you won't have any money to buy any. So it's actually a really hard way to start the game as a caster. So FYI to you on that. So yeah, let's put some money into skill points into strength. Let's get that endurance up. And let's just take a look here real quick. Dexterity. Dexterity is a measure of steadiness, accuracy, hand-eye coordination, balance, and grace in physical activity. Dexterity is critical to your character's 2-hit rating and his base armor rating, as well as skills such as using bows, thrown weapons, and picking locks. So we don't need to go crazy on that. We probably don't need to put anything extra into Dex. So 14 is a good solid roll. Let's move on to Endurance. Endurance is a measure of how well your character can endure physical trauma, poisons, diseases, and fatigue. It is the critical foundation of your character's maximum hit points and all resistance scores, as well as his hit point regeneration rate. So that's right, not only do you get more hit points, but you can, when you're camping or just walking around, you recover hit points faster the higher your endurance is, and that's nice. So yeah, let's put an extra point into there too. Let's move on to speed. Speed is a measure of how quickly your character is able to perform actions. The higher your character's speed is, the faster he can swing a melee weapon, thus increasing maximum deliverable damage with melee weapons, and the lower his base armor rating is because he's more able to quickly evade an incoming dodge. So that's right, both speed and dexterity will lend to you having a higher armor class, essentially. Intelligence is going to just sit there at the 13 for now. Essentially, intelligence is a measure of your character's ability to understand and retain new information, as well as his logistic skills. Intelligence also augments elemental resistance and his ability to identify unknown objects. For magic users, intelligence contributes to the amount of mana points gained every level. Let's check wisdom. Wisdom is a measure of your character's insight, common sense, and quality of judgment, as well as general cognitive abilities. Wisdom augments the magic skill of divination, as well as disease resistance and some defensive stats. Wisdom is also the only attribute that can protect your character against curses. For healers, wisdom contributes to the amount of mana points gained every level. So, for a healer in particular. But they're really making the point that all the stats are going to help any type of character you play, at least to some degree, so none of them are completely worthless. Perception. Perception is the ability to sense, channel, and utilize the arcane energies that exist below the surface of observed reality. In its slightest form, perception also affects awareness and intuition. Perception represents your character's ability to perform acts of magic and divine channeling, and is the basis for all his maximum mana points, magic resistance, and mana point regeneration rate, as well as their natural ability to spot hidden items. You can get trinkets and whatnot that will improve your ability to spot hidden items, so probably not something we need to worry about right now. Finally, concentration. Concentration is a measure of your character's ability to maintain attention and mental focus, especially while distressed. It is often considered the mental version of endurance. It augments many different skills and stats that require strong mental focus, and as such is a critical attribute to develop for every character, regardless of his specialization. So in particular, where I know concentration comes in is when you're a combat caster, and an enemy's right next to you, you have a very good chance of failing the spell if your concentration is low. That's something we'll work up eventually, but let's not worry about it too much right now. I think we should put a little more in speed, and maybe the final two in strength. The other good thing about having that high strength is it allows us to carry around more armor. Okay, so we've done our attributes. Let's look over here at our origins, axioms, and classes. So first of all, your origin is just a simple +2, +1 to 2 of the stats. So the Norlander would get a +2 to endurance, +1 to concentration. The Barian would get a +2 to speed, +1 to strength. The Rifter would get a +2 to perception, +1 to wisdom. So that'd probably be good for a rogue. Therish would get a +2 concentration, +1 dexterity. I can see for a caster. And Kessian, +2 wisdom, +1 intelligence. Definitely a caster there. But yeah, let's go with... Let's do that. Let's do the Barian. So Barians hail from the vast desolation of Baria, far to the west. It is a region of desert and scrubland, where even a simple living requires a great deal of work. Barians tend to be lean and swift and can travel immense distances in a short amount of time. Barians receive that +2 to speed and the +1 to strength. So yeah, we're going to take that. And that'll give us an extra little bit there. Strength went up by 1, speed up by 2. So you can see now we have at least a 14 in our 4 combat-focused stats. That doesn't really have any other effect in the game, FYI. It's just a way to get a little modification there. Let's look at the axioms next. So your character's axiom describes his basic belief system, which imposes certain advantages and disadvantages to the character. So, these are pretty simple things. The ascetic, essentially, they don't believe in any higher power or superstitions, but because of that, they are immune to the effects of curses. However, this also makes them immune to the effects of blessings and altruistic healing from a cleric. Whoa. Yeah, you can't benefit from divine healing. So you could use bandages, you can camp out, you can have a very high survival, I think it's survival rating, which allows you to heal faster, high endurance, and I think healing potions. So, I mean, this is the great thing about this game. I mean, if you're still with me here 18 minutes into this, we haven't played the game yet, but I want you to think about what that's saying is you can play a character type that literally you'll just simply use bandages, eat food, rest, and drink potions to heal. No magical healing cast upon you by a cleric or yourself, as far as I know, will heal you. However, the only benefit to taking that is that it makes you immune to the effects of curses. They don't come up that much, so I'm not sweating it. We can have curses removed at a cleric, so let's skip on that. Druidic. This is an interesting one. A person of Druidic faith believes in the divinity of the living world itself, plants and animals, sun and rain, night and day. While outdoors, followers of the Druidic faith regenerate lost hit points and mana points much faster than normally possible. However, while in a dungeon or underground, they regenerate these points much more slowly than normal. Okay, there's a lot of dungeons and there's a lot of surface map. So you cannot just say, oh, I'll just do one or the other. Now, they eventually give you quick travel in the game, at least between, I think, 8 different primary locations. So between that and being able to go to an inn and rest, going to an inn and resting there and getting all your mana and health and camping out, you can usually manage getting your mana back pretty well. Playing a druid, I think, would be if you were going to just try not to ever camp on the surface, but just walk around constantly exploring and regain your health points as you move. So that'd be just, it would just kind of expedite things. But I'm not going to mess with that. Let's keep going here. Virtuous. Virtuous person automatically receive the spell Bless and can cast it at level 1 without the need for the divination spell. So that would just, yeah. However, virtuous persons are much more susceptible to being cursed when in the presence of what they perceive as great evil. Yeah, so it just gives you Bless right off the bat. Again, it's kind of hard to get your spells going when you're starting the game as a caster, so I'm not going to mess with that. Nefarious. Nefarious person. Oh yeah, they can deal malice damage. They'd have to be evil, essentially. Nefarious people have a 5% chance on any attack of delivering malice damage, and increased damage gained by the use of savage or cruel combat techniques. However, they are immune to the effects of healing from an altruistic cleric or priest. That's right, because you're evil, the priests won't heal you. Finally, agnostic. That's what we're going to go with. Agnostic. The agnostic person generally believes in some sort of higher power on a personal level, but balances belief with observable truths and grounded ideals. Being generally balanced, they receive neither bonuses nor penalties. So yeah, we're going to play it safe. We're going to go agnostic, folks. And not finally, but class. You have fighter, rogue, magic user, healer, ranger. All this does is gift you a skill, and I don't even think it gives you the weapon, and maybe it does. So like if we got range, we can learn any of the skills here, but this just gives you one free skill. But I really don't think it even gives you the weapon. I could be wrong about that. We'll see. So fighter, rogue, magic user, healer, ranger. They find hand-to-hand combat only when needed for. Yeah, it's just so let's just do fighter for this. Well, let's see here. If we choose fighter, we get the sword skill. Not bad. Rogue would give us the lockpick. Magic user would get us elemental magic skill. Healer would get us divination, but as I've told you, those aren't, at this point in the game, it's kind of hard to get those spells. Finally, the ranger would give us the bow. I'm just going to go with the fighter. Yeah, let's start with swords. Okay. Now, you can see here, it got us this weapons, swords, at level 1. Now, any new skill we choose off the available skills list here will cost us 3 points to get first level, to buy into it. But after that, we can increase 1 point here, 1 point here, to a maximum of 6. So you may only improve it up to 6 to start with. We don't necessarily need to do that. I'm right-clicking that back down. So let's look through here. Alchemy, divination, elemental magic, light armor, heavy armor. Now, light armor is much more common at the start of the game. So although you might not want to ever build your light armor skill up, it's not a bad thing to have light armor to start, the skill to start with, so you can equip the armor and receive the proper benefit from it. Eventually, though, playing a fighter, you'd want heavy armor if possible. Also, there's the shield skill. Get a shield, you can equip it, gives you a little more AC. Cartography, that helps you map the world around you, but you can find items that will help you do that pretty well. We'll probably get into that eventually. Dodge. Dodge allows you to avoid being attacked through evasive actions, such as carefully timed sidestep or twist of your body. When you perform a successful dodge, your opponent is thrown off balance, granting you a 10% to hit probability on your follow-up attack. So, anytime you dodge, not only do you not take the damage, but it gives you a nice 10% bonus to your next attack on them. Usually you're hitting your enemies around a 50% chance if they're like in parity to your level. Dodge is a passive skill and will be checked automatically each combat round. Your chance of successfully dodging any attack is 1% per point that you have in the dodge skill. So just you need to put some points into that to have it be really effective. You know, like 10 points, 15 points. Hidden shadows, we're not going to get into that. Lore, that's just identifying equipment. You can pay someone to do that for you, or get items that will help you identify. Meditation allows you to restore mana points quicker. We're scrolling down here. Mercantile. This ability lets you buy and sell things cheaper. That's not a bad thing. Money is the tightest thing in this game. The more money you have, you can get some nice gear, everything you need. So I could see buying into Mercantile to start with. Yeah, it might be worth it. Move silently. That's kind of like hide in shadows. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Pick locks. Yeah, I think we're going to beat stuff down. Skullduggery. This allows you to effectively disarm traps you find. Understanding traps and the ability to effectively disarm them. Concentration and dexterity complement the skill. In particular, interesting, I think your perception is what allows you to spot hidden items. I would assume traps as well. But we're not going to get into skullduggery yet. Spot hidden. Oh, so spot hidden allows you to pass hidden items, doors, traps, and abnormalities. This is complemented by perception. Let me tell you, you could be walking around a cave system in this, and there could be a face of the cliff wall with a pocket of gems inside of it. If you don't have your spot hidden, you'll walk by, you'll never know. You just won't know. Now, if it's something you walk by a few times, each time you roll a chance, you're more likely to see it. But if you're just going by one part of a dungeon one time, and you have nothing in that, you're not going to see those hidden goodies. So, but I digress. Probably not going to go into that. Survival? Yeah, this gets your hit points back faster and helps you with toxins and diseases. Unarmed combat, we're not going to go into that. Weapons, bludgeoning. Yeah, let's see. This is interesting. They work equally well at bashing in chests as well as skulls. So bludgeoning weapons are very effective at crushing into those locked items, which we were talking about. Let's see. Cleaving weapons. Machete, similar chopping weapons. I don't think they chop. They're not so good at getting into chests and doors. Short blades. These are knives and daggers. Obviously, those are not good at breaking things down. Swords. Include all forms of medium and long blades, single blades, short swords considered true swords, not short-bladed weapons. Melee weapons, strength and speed, and of course you have your thrown items. Thrown is like spears and darts as opposed to using your bow, crossbow. So, you can even throw stones in this. It's like a missile weapon, so it's super cheap ammo. But, gosh, see, now I don't know if I want... I don't think I want swords. I think I want bludgeoning, so I can double up my weapons to beat down stuff. So let's take that, and I'm going to switch my class real quick to the healer, divination. Ultimately, I know I want to be able to heal myself, and we'll probably become a magic user as well at some point. But I might as well take the skill I need. So let's crank up that bludgeoning weapon to max. It only lets us put a +5 in. You can get to a 6 if you chose it here, but so we're going to use bludgeoning weapons, clubs, hammers, that kind of stuff. But we still have 10 skill points, so we've got our combat. You have to have some combat skill. We have some divination magic, which will help us cast those spells once we find them. We have mercantile, which will help us buy and sell stuff. So what else would be good in here? I could say survival, because we're just going to want to be able to regenerate health points pretty quickly. And I could see light armor to start. Eventually, yes, we will want to get heavy armor, but there's no heavy armor laying around when you kill a giant rat, or break open a rotted barrel. You're not going to find heavy armor yet. So that's where we're going with the light armor for now. Alchemy is huge. Eventually, you can make potions. You can upgrade your gear. Do I want to buy into it now? I'm going to hold off on that. We can find rings of alchemy. I'm wondering though, so I'm down to, I would say realistically, shield or dodge. Let's go with shield, because the dodge was going to have kind of a limited effect, at least to start with. So yeah, let's go into shields. Gives us 1 point left. Let's throw that into mercantile. And finally, our name. Let's see. Revo. Yeah, that's overspelled backwards, in case you kids didn't know. Continue. Ready to exit? Yes, we are. Look at that. 30 minutes in, we've created a character. Here we go. Hope you guys can read this. You open your eyes, Your head is aching, and you immediately realize you have no idea where you are. The only thing you can remember about last night is the terrible storm, the black of night cut with flashes of lightning. When you remember something, movement in the darkness, a shadowy presence, slowly you begin to realize that you have no memory of anything before the storm of last evening. In fact, you have no idea who you even are. It takes much effort before you are able to remember even the most personal information about yourself. Your name, Revo. For a moment, you are relieved to have remembered anything at all, but alas, your relief is short-lived as you look around and assess your situation. You are standing in a strange house in an unknown location, having little more than your name in your possession. Okay. Boom. So, down at the bottom, welcome to Eschalon, Book 1 by Basilisk Games, copyright 2007-2008. So this is a pretty old game now, 15 years. Press 1 for helpful tips, plus 3 for help on keyboard shortcuts. I'll go over that stuff. Let's keep playing. Yeah, who cares? I was thinking I'll make it a 30-minute video, but I don't care. I'm just having fun. If you don't want to watch an hour-long video, you don't have to. So, here we go. Here's a little character. So, pretty basic. This is turn-based, by the way, not real-time. So, enemies will not approach you. You have all the time in the world you want to move around. This is your character. Obviously, hit points, mana. So, we have 55 hit points to start, 39 mana. Just a touch of encumbrance. We can carry 100 pounds total, which is nice. No experience. We need 1,000 experience points to get to level 2. Up at the top, we have our torches. So let's jump over to the torch here. You see this. I can take a torch off the wall, and now I have one torch. I may now light it, and it gives me a mobile light source. You see it in my hand there. I can also simply click and turn that off. The more torches I grab in the game, this number up here will go up, and you carry, 20, 50 torches, although they do have a weight to them. It does count against your encumbrance. Now, the nice thing is that you just get to have that torch or not have it as you need to. Now, notice, though, the shield... Oh, here, this is to open and close your paper doll, right, where you're dressing. But if you have a torch lit, you have it in the grip of your shield arm, so you can't use a shield in that hand. So bear that in mind. Now, there's magical effects you can get to see in the dark. I recommend using that as well. Another nice thing is if you do leave a torch on a wall in a sconce, I simply click. As you go around dungeons and places that you're learning about in the world, you can put a torch on the wall. It will burn forever. It will never go out. It's kind of like Minecraft that way. You can put torches up as you want to, but they do get consumed when you're carrying them. And I'm going to grab that first one. Let's see what else we have. We have our inventory. You can see here this is just a 7 by 10 grid, and down in this bottom corner always has our gold. So you have 16.9 nice storage spaces. That clearly is why they must have done a 7 by 10 minus 1. These guys are cool. Yeah, I think yeah. Okay. Here is our character. We currently have a traveler shirt and commoner's pants. We have nothing. We're buck-ass naked. Here's our character sheet. Revo, the Thurgist, agnostic healer. Level 1 layman. Obviously our stats here, and then combative abilities. To hit is a +5, max damage is 6 plus 0, armor rating is 5. That is probably coming from our dex and our speed. Yeah, is where we're getting that 5 armor, AC armor rating, AR, I guess. Damage reduction, 0%. Resistances. Elementals resistance, so that'd be like fire and cold. We resist it 32%. Toxins, poisons, we resist it 39%, so that's pretty good. Magics, magic missile, wall of force kind of stuff, 32%. And disease, 32%. Now, quick thing here. When you get poisoned, it'll hit your health and whatnot. And different poisons last for different amounts of time and have different strengths. But you can just outlast it. As long as you can keep yourself alive, you can walk around and eventually the poison will clear. Again, harder poisons last longer. Poisons can kill you, so don't think it'll just take you to one. It'll just outright kill you if you let it go for too long. Diseases, on the other hand, never go away. You must heal them with magic, with a cure disease potion, or go to a cleric and have them heal you. So there's 3 ways to get rid of diseases. There may even be like a hidden well or something in the game that'll cure disease. We'll have to find that. I don't honestly know. I don't know everything about the game. And then finally down at the bottom are our skills that we've chosen. So yeah, let's close the paper doll. Over here we have our quest journal. It's empty. We have our magic spell journal. It is empty. I'll go into how to hotkey and cast those as we learn them. Weapon. You can choose between your primary and your alternate weapon by simply clicking this back and forth. That would allow you to switch between like a sword and a bow, or your good mace and your cruddy hammer used to break open chests. You could switch back and forth that way as well. This plus here is for when you're going to level up. It takes you into a leveling screen, kind of similar to the character creation screen. You'll get 3 attribute points to spend to increase your stats, and you'll get 3 skill points to either learn 1 new skill or improve 3 by 1 point each. So that's when you level up, you get that, as well as a little bit extra hit points, a little bit of extra mana points. There's your camping tab, and finally this is to save. Let's go in and save. I'm going to start saving over my laying game, and I'm going to play Revo 1.0. I always use 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, so it's easy to keep track of where you're at. I'd recommend you do the same. Alright, let's go over here. Here's a chest. We open the chest immediately. Simple. There's an iron dagger, which we don't know how to use, and a sealed note. Let's start with that. Right-click to read. And I'm going to put the note down here because I want to make sure it doesn't get lost or sold. Revo, you don't know who I am, but I know who you are. I'm sure you are very confused right now, but you must gather yourself quickly. I've hidden a few basic supplies for you. They are out back near the well. Hopefully you'll remember the secret spot. You need to find a man named Maddock in the village of Aridel, which is just a short walk northeast of here. He'll know who you are, and he has been instructed to give you a small package upon your arrival. Be very careful. This land has been befouled and is not safe. If you wish to live, I suggest you stay on the main roads and paths. Do not wander. E. The name Maddock means nothing to you, nor does the initial E. With nothing else going on, perhaps finding this person named Maddock will be your best chance to make sense of this confusion. Okay. So we read the letter, the sealed note, and up here it added it to our journal. Find Maddock at the village of Aridel. Aridel is located northeast of where you awoke. Awesome. Close that down. And he said the secret spot. I don't know the secret spot. So you always got to pay attention to your little text thing. You can scroll this up and down with these up and down arrows, but it doesn't go back very far. It doesn't log very far, like maybe 40 or 50 lines, so you have to be careful. You step outside the walls of this dilapidated house and breathe deeply. The air is humid, still saturated from last night's rain. Although you do not recognize the area around you, it seems strangely familiar. The ghostly remnants of nearby abandoned buildings look overgrown and unwelcoming. You stand for just a minute and take it in, hoping that something will trigger an avalanche of memories to crash through and make sense of all this, but nothing comes to you. Alright, let's check the barrel. 2 torches, we'll grab them both. And yeah, up there now it says 3 for our torches. Keep gathering those. There's a well here. There's a rope going down the well. Pull it up? Yeah, what the heck? You only find a moldy bucket filled with smelly water. Different wells do different things. Okay, so I see like there's like bones and trash. Whoa, 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 whoa. This place seems increasingly familiar to you. Yes, you've been here before. Somehow you know this area. Yet it is strange, as if you become gradually more confident that you recognize your surroundings. You feel as if any remaining memories of your own identity seem to be slipping away ever more. So our character, Revo, is forgetting even now, forgetting things. So there it is. So that tree stump, Look at that. We found some hidden stuff in there. So healing elixir 1, healing elixir 1, mana potion 1, mana potion 1. Leather sandals and scroll of flesh boil. Nice. Okay, cool. Let's jump in here. So you can see we can open up all 3 tabs at once, which is nice. So the leather sandals are category light armor. Good. We know light armor. It's going to give us a base armor rating of 1, and they weigh 1 pound, and they're worth 10 gold. So let's just take them, drop them in. In our AR, our armor rating went from 5 to 6. So having some, Jesus sandals on our feet, it's going to keep us alive a little longer. I like that. Now, let's stack our mana potions, and let's plop them down here. And let's stack our healing potions, plop them down here. So these 8 slots are, for all intents and purposes, 8 extra inventory slots, taking your total inventory to 77, actually. Now, they still count as weight and everything else, but they are here, so that's nice. It's easy to get to. Here's the Iron Dagger. Now, let's watch what happens when we equip an Iron Dagger. It's a bladed short weapon with a base 1 damage, but we don't know how to use short blades. So, right now our 2 hit is 5, and our max damage is 6. Watch what happens. Our 2 hit went down to 3 from 5. That's not good. We want to go higher with everything. Our max damage dropped from 6 to 5. So we're more effective fighting barehanded than with this dagger because we're untrained in it. There's real consequences. If we found a shield and we didn't know shield and we put it on, it would hurt our stats. It wouldn't help us. So we'll close these down. Boom. And yeah. Now, this big blank area right here is where the map for this zone will appear. There's like 20 zones in the game, and it's a big area, actually. However, we don't know cartography, so we can't even make the most mundane map. But eventually, we'll know how to draw this map, and it'll help us out. Sometimes you can sneak through trees. Imagine this is all on a big grid. But let's see here. Option. Yeah, let's see. Tactical grid always on. Show compass direction. Let's just do tactical grid. I want to show you that real quick. Return. There you go. I can leave that on for a little bit just so you guys kind of get a feel for it. I know it's not as cool to look at. But as you're moving around, like let's take this for example. I can move here, I can move up, I can move behind the tree. You see that? So sometimes you can move through very narrow cracks. They actually hide things in the game. Now I see over here, you see a fanged salamander that has spotted you. It is currently out of your attack range. Now, if I had been a bit further away, it's possible it wouldn't have seen me or heard me. And I would be able to click on it, get a description of what it is, and see if it spotted me or not. So I could sneak away. I could back up and be, oh, it hasn't seen me, and escape that way. Now, I don't have move silently, and I don't have hide in shadows, so it's hard. My enemies, or your enemies, our enemies, detect us pretty easily at this point, because we're not stealthy at all. So bear that in mind. But yeah, I guess we could fight this thing. Oh, we also have the scroll of flesh boil. Divination. Okay, we'll get into that. Let's fight this thing first, and then I think we took the skill of divination, so we might be able to learn flesh boil, and then boil some flesh with it. In general, the invocation, the wizard magic, is more damaging, and the divination is more clerical, so that flesh boil is probably not as good as like a flame bolt or something. So you can see here that the fanged salamander's one space away. It can't hit me, and I can't hit it. Now, if I hit the space bar, I'll pass my turn. And I do that because I want the salamander to spend its turn approaching me, and now I get to attack before it attacks me. If I had stepped towards it, that would have been my turn, and it would have then attacked me because I would have been right next to it. Strategy is everything in this game, and you can absolutely min-max this to the ends of the earth. It's fantastic. If you get nothing else from watching this little video, even for a few minutes, I hope you would get this game to support an independent game developer, but beyond which, it's a fantastic game. So just bear with me. So here we go. I attack. great thing about this game is down in the text box, it's actually telling you what you're doing, what the enemies are doing, whether poisons are afflicted, how much damage you're taking, what your chances are, whether you're in darkness, dim light, full darkness, all that kind of stuff. It's really cool. So, Revo attacks Fanged Salamander. To hit probability, 57%. To hit, and we hit. Roll damage, 6. Damage roll 6. So we did 6 points of damage. Fanged Salamander suffers the 6 points of damage. And finally, the Fanged Salamander attacks Revo. Its probability to hit us is 50%, and it missed. We'll attack again. Boom. So I just punched that thing out, killed it outright. So we did 9 points of total damage, so that's... The Fanged Salamanders have 8 or 9 points of health, is what it looks like. We gained 8 experience, and you can see here, there's our 8. We got a long ways to go to get to level 2. So that was our first combat. We're unscathed. Let's go back into our inventory. And essentially, this scroll, this isn't like scrolls in like D&D where you read the scroll and it casts a spell. This is like the scroll where you're learning it, you're consuming it. So when I click on this, right-click, I read it and I learned it. It's gone. Now, I could have also sold that scroll probably for about a third of its value to a merchant. So as you find extra scrolls that you maybe don't need or you've already learned, no problem. They're very valuable and they're lightweight. They only weigh like 1/10 of a pound or something. So great way to carry a lot of wealth with you. But yeah, let's close our inventory. Let's go into our spell book, our spell journal. So we can right-click on a spell to see what it does down in the text box there. So I right-clicked on Flesh Boil. Let's see here. A ranged spell which bathes a single target with divine energy, causing blisters and lesions upon exposed flesh. Effects is 2 to 4 hit points of magic damage per casting level. So we can only cast it at level 1. You can choose level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. So for instance, let's cast it at level 6. So I click on that, and then I right-click, or I select Flesh Boil, and I click OK. Try to cast it. It mana cost 12, level 6. Well, it says Divination skill of 11 is required to cast Flesh Boil at level 6. That's right. I will have to get my Divination up a lot in order to cast this at the highest level. Let's look at Tier 2. Hit OK. Divination skill of 3 is required to cast at level 2. So we need to get 3 Divination skill points to cast even at level 2, which would do a 4 to 8 points of Flesh Boil. Right now, we can only cast it at level 1. And in particular, I'm going to hold the number 1 key, and I'm going to press OK. And what I did is now I have hotkeyed. I can have hotkeys for my spells of 1 to 0. So 10 total spell hotkey slots. And that way you can have your spells ready as you need them. So if I click on 2, I have nothing in the 2 key spell slot. But when I click on 1, readied spell in slot 1 is Flesh Boil at level 1. So you can even, I think, learn like, you could learn like Flesh Boil at level 1 in key 1, and then level 2 you could learn Flesh Boil at level 6. And then you could either cast a weak or strong Flesh Boil using your hotkeys. But you learn a lot of spells, so you'll probably just have the maximum version of each spell. But what that allows us to do now is have a ranged attack. So the next Fanged Salamander we see, we might just try and boil their flesh before they get to us. We have a lot of mana just burning a hole in our pocket, so we might as well use it. I'll play for another 12 minutes. I will stop this in an hour, because I can always do another hour recording tomorrow or something like that. Or maybe tonight. We'll see. I'm having fun. So I'm going to leave the grid up for a while. Again, I know it's cosmetically not as beautiful, but it allows you to kind of see how we're moving around. Now, there are buildings. There's a lot to explore. This single zone is big. I see some blood. Another abandoned building. Okay. Did you hear the sound? That grunting? Here, let me back up. That hissing. There's right there a Fanged Salamander. Let's see if I can target it with Flesh Boil. So I have my readied spell, and I'm going to right-click. Target is obscured. I don't have line of sight to it. So let me back away again. And again. Wow. Maybe the thing doesn't see me? There we go. There we go. Now I have a line of sight. So I'm going to right-click with the mouse. I hit for 3. So interesting thing is, it doesn't seem to miss because it's magic. You know, your bow, you'd be shooting like at a 50% hit chance. So you'd miss every other arrow. But target's obscured. Son of a gun. I'm going to move away. There we go. So we were easily able to kill it without it getting right on us. I believe, though, it's taking 2 points of mana per casting. Whoa. All right, I'm behind the tree right... You can't see me. But we're down here, but we can... Oh, we're right there. I see. Here we go. Yeah, we're just going to blast these guys apart with our magic. Why not? We're going to be a fighter caster in this game. Your mana will go very fast if you try and win all your fights this way. I'm just doing it for ease of play. But eventually, we're going to want to have a nice, beefy warhammer and a bunch of metal armor that keeps us alive. So I see here, there's an open barrel, a broken barrel, and a sealed barrel. Let's just go look in the open barrel real quick. Nothing. Empty. Now, quick cheat on the game if you wanted to. Before you look in any barrel or chest or, you know, examine any treasure, you could save your game, look, and if you didn't like the empty barrel, you could reload, check again, and eventually you'd find coins. Almost all the loot in the game is randomly generated. There are a few things where it is fixed loot, where like the 2 chests or the 2 torches we found in that rain barrel where we woke up, those are always there. But in the starting box of stuff we got, I think always has like the same fixed thing in it. But maybe if you chose the magic caster invocation, you would have found an invocation scroll. And probably as a ranger you'd find a bow, and as a fighter you'd find a sword, like that. So, okay. Unfortunately, every time we look from now on, there won't be anything in there. I think you can store gear in there. So, for instance, if I take my dagger, you can see you could use these as holding things. And in certain buildings you find, you know, in the towns you like, if you find a chest of drawers or something, you can store gear in there. And it should stay, as far as I know. Now, however, let's go take a look at the sealed barrel. Check this out. When I click on this, look at this. You see a rotting, flimsy barrel with a sealed top versus a fine oaken barrel with bands of steel, which would be really hard to break through. So I can hit this by holding left shift and the left mouse key. Bam. Look at that. Object's condition is at 25% because it's already rotted. Normally a healthy object will start at 100. Now you see that did a point of damage to me. I hurt myself. But I want to get it open. I'm just going to... You can see the object's condition is beating down. By the way, there's no other good way to open barrels that I'm aware of except to beat them open. We don't know how to tap barrels in this game, apparently. So a chest, you could pick the lock or melt the lock. But with a barrel, there is no lock. You just got to crack the damn thing open. So I want what's in that barrel. Yeah. Okay, so... There may be nothing in there, or I could cheat and save and then check and reload. This game reloads in like 4 seconds, so you can do it 20 times. But I'm not going to cheat because, I mean, geez, the monetary difference is like 20 to 1 because you can reload and find the best gear, like not just like go 8 coins in a iron pot. It's like, you know, you could go in there and find steel pauldrons, and they're worth 280 gold. And the other stuff was worth 20 gold. Or you find an empty barrel. Or no, you find a book and 12 coins that are worth 72 gold altogether. 0 or 72. Just by cheating. But we're not going to cheat. We're going to try and roleplay this, you know, to a reasonable degree. So yeah, let's see. Let's check that barrel. It's empty. We just beat the heck out of ourselves for no reason. That's fine. You can see here we found an actual dirt path. We're going to follow it, trying to get to the town of Aridel. Here we go. See, we're at a crossroads. Now, down this path here is back towards the ruined town we came from. It's actually a pretty good-sized town with quite a few buildings. But there's bad guys to fight. We want to go to Ariodel, get ourselves set up in a town, meet some people, get some quests going. But I can read the sign. To the northwest, which would be that way, is Grimhold. To the northeast is Ariodel. So that's the way we're going to head up that path. To the southwest, which is down that way. Sorry, I'm inverted, so this is really hard to do. Is Elder Hollow, which is the rune town. And that way is southeast Salted Coast. So you can see the four directions. So we're going to Ariodel, northeast, this way. Oh, here we go. Now, I'm going to click on this guy. Target's obscured. Oh, so you see that as soon as I came out of line of sight, he saw me. It's bright daylight. I'm not hiding anywhere. And you can see, yeah, he spotted me. But that's okay. We're gonna boil his flesh away. Yeah. Oh, there's two of them. Shit. And, yeah, let's boil his flesh. Boil your flesh. Boil it away. There you go. Now, the little salamanders and weenie characters to start with don't drop loot. But when you start running into humanoids, thugs, goblins, they will drop little sacks of loot occasionally, not always. And you can find some rockin' gear in there. You need a lot of money in this game. Okay, here is a town sign. You are entering a village that is smaller than the deserted one you awoke in earlier. The streets appear to be mostly vacant. Yet, sounds of life can be heard within the walls of the buildings. You are hopeful that talking to the locals in this town may help you make sense of your situation. So yeah, we just click on it. You see a nice wooden sign with fine script writing, Ariodel. Actually, let me get right up to it. There you go. Plain hint. There is a town sign nearby. Walk over next to it and touch it to activate this location in your quick travel menu. So that's right. Anytime you get to a new location, you see a sign or maybe a stone obelisk, a dark gray stone obelisk, you want to touch it because it will add the location to your quick travel menu. I think there's 8 total. You get to that by clicking on your map, right? You flip your map around. So check this out. Quick travel. Ariodel, we've now found its gold. Border Town, Grimhollow, Grimhold East, Grimhold West, Blackwater, Vela, Lone Loft, and Tangletree Ossuary. So, yeah, 8 total quick travels. So, good to know. But now we have this one. So check it out. I see doors. Look at that. There's a chest of drawers. There's another chest of drawers. I don't know if those are locked. We could go in there. We could steal the torch off the wall. Now, if we do things that are considered illegal in town, the townsfolk can hear you committing a crime. Now, if you're stealthed out or it's at night, so for instance, this guard always lingers around this area, but what I could do at night is put out the torch, and then when he's wandering around and it's dark, I could go to this door, pick the lock, go in, and then he won't see me. But if I try and beat the door down, there's a pretty reasonable chance he's going to give me trouble. And in this game, there's not like jail or anything. If you kill a townsperson, they're just dead. They don't come back, ever. So don't mess around. I don't think there's a lot of good ways. Well, yeah, if you try and steal something and a townsperson catches you committing a crime, they'll try and attack you. And if you finish them off, they're gone. You don't get them back. Merchants, quest givers, whatever. So you got to be very cautious in this game about... I mean, yes, there's ways to steal and rob everyone blind in this game, which is cool, but do not kill them, because you can mess up your game. All right, that being said, the town guard just says, "Greetings." That's all he has to say. Okay. All the signs are here. Village of Ariodel, City Council. So yeah, let's go talk to this person. I'm gonna kind of play this like I'm gonna pretend that it's new to me. So we'll kind of take things as we go. But the only advantage is I'm not going to be wandering around aimlessly. But to be fair, I haven't gotten to every part of the game, and I haven't really played it through in several years. I mean, it's been a long time. This is redo over this channel, so that means we play old-ass games that no one else is playing or making videos for or watching. Because I'm not trying to be popular and get 100,000 views, because there's probably like 100 people on YouTube who are looking for this video right now in the world. So that's fine. I'm trying to just have fun with things I like to do and hopefully expose you to something new and cool. Oh, we're at an hour. You know what? This is a perfect time to save. I can only buffer these so long, and it's really tough to output a big video file when it's gigabytes and gigabytes. So that's good for now. If you watched, thank you, and I'll save and log off of here.